Welcome back to Get Over Your Shit, the podcast dedicated to helping digital course creators, entrepreneurs, and small business owners stop overthinking and start executing. I'm Malinda Watt, your host and fellow overthinker, here to guide you through the maze of self-doubt and procrastination that keep us stuck. Today we're tackling the topic I know so many of us struggle with: how to turn your ideas into action. Whether you're a digital course creator, entrepreneur, or a small business owner, you probably have more ideas than you know what to do with. But here's the thing, ideas are just the starting point. What really matters is turning those ideas into reality. We all have a tendency to overthink, second guess ourselves, and get stuck in our own heads, especially when it comes to launching something new. Fear of failure, perfectionism, imposter syndrome, you name it, I've been there. This very podcast is a reflection of that. 8 years I've owned the domain, and it's only now in October of 2024 that I've finally launched it. So if you're listening, thank you. I appreciate you so much. If you want to move your business forward, you've got to stop spinning your wheels and start taking action. Today, I'm going to break down the steps to get you from that spark of an idea all the way to full execution. You'll learn how to evaluate your idea, plan, gather resources, and launch, all while pushing past the mental barriers that hold so many of us back. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. Here are the 5 steps you need to take to go from concept to creation. Step 1, evaluating your idea. First things first. You need to assess whether your idea is worth pursuing. This isn't about being harsh on yourself. It's about making sure you're spending your time and energy on something that's viable. Ask yourself, does this idea solve a problem? Is there a demand for it? And who will benefit from this? If your idea checks these boxes, it's time to move forward. Step 2, planning. Once you've evaluated your idea, the next step is to create a plan. This is where most of us get stuck in analysis paralysis, right? We want everything to be perfect, but planning doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start by breaking down your big idea into smaller, actionable steps. What's the first thing you need to do? What's your timeline? Set realistic milestones and hold yourself accountable. Step 3, resource gathering. Now that you have a plan, it's time to figure out what you need to make it happen. This could be tools, software, people, or even just more time on your schedule. Do you need help with tech? Do you need to outsource a task that's not in your zone of genius? Be honest about what you can do and where you need support. Step 4, prototyping and testing. Before you go all in, start small. Create a minimal viable product, an MVP, something you can test without sinking all your resources into it. This could be a beta version of your course, a pilot project, or even just a landing page to gauge interest. Prototyping allows you to gather feedback, make adjustments, and validate your idea before a full-scale launch. Step 5, execution, the part we all fear. Here's a secret. You're never going to feel 100% ready, so stop waiting for that moment. Take imperfect action. Get your minimal viable product, that MVP, out there, gather feedback, and iterate as you go. Don't be afraid to start small. You can always build and scale over time. The important thing is to start. To help you take action on everything we're talking about today, I've created a workbook for you. It's called Concept to Creation, your step-by-step guide. It's a free workbook that walks you through the exact steps we're covering in this episode, from evaluating your idea all the way to launching it. Inside the workbook, you'll find prompts, checklists, and space to work through each step. So by the time you're done, you'll have a clear plan of action to turn your idea into reality. It's perfect if you're ready to stop overthinking and start executing. To grab your free copy, just head to malindawatt.com/action or check the show notes for the link. Let's get that idea out of your head and into the world. Let's be real. Taking action is tough. There are going to be obstacles that pop up, and most of them are mental. 3 big ones I see all the time are fear of failure, lack of resources, and good old procrastination. I personally get stuck in the fear of failure and procrastination. I've accumulated so many resources over the years, I could open a Blockbuster rental if renting out courses you've purchased was a real thing. Look, fear of failure is completely normal, but here's the truth. You will fail at some point, and that's okay. Failure is part of the process. The key is to fail forward. Learn from your mistakes and keep moving. The worst thing you can do is let that fear stop you from even trying. Honestly, you need to have moments of failure to establish what it means to pivot and find that sweet spot that creates a business you love. Lack of resources. This one's tricky because, sometimes you just don't have the budget, time, or tools you need. But don't let that become an excuse. Start where you are with what you have. There are so many free and low-cost tools out there, and if you need more time, look at your schedule and see what you can cut out. The goal is progress, not perfection. You don't need to subscribe to expensive software to test your ideas. Even something as simple as a Google document that you share on Facebook or to a small email list can work as a sales page. You just want to be sure to set the share link, which you'll find in the top right-hand corner of the Google document, to view only, and then share the shit out of it. Procrastination. Procrastination, my old friend. We've all been there, putting off tasks because we're overwhelmed or don't know where to start. My best advice? Just do something. Break down your tasks into the smallest possible steps and knock them out one by one. The momentum will come, but you have to take that first step. As I record this podcast, I just launched the first 3 episodes yesterday, and I needed to make sure to record this episode for next week. I'm pushing forward, focusing on the task at hand to ensure I have enough time to get this episode to my editor, Chris, without putting unnecessary stress on her as she takes all the final steps in making sure this episode is ready for next week. So this might be the biggest takeaway of this episode. How can you flip the deadline of what you're working on so that you can shift the approach that you're going to put the burden of getting it done onto someone else's to-do list? It's interesting that with this podcast and being able to have an editor has flipped my execution to respect how my lack of execution is going to affect someone else whose time I value. Let's talk about a few real-world examples of entrepreneurs who pushed past these barriers and turned their ideas into something amazing. First up, Jenna Kutcher. She's a well-known name in the online business world, but her journey started with a simple dream and a lot of hustle. Jenna began as a wedding photographer and quickly realized she could teach others what she had learned along the way. With just her passion, a camera, and a willingness to share her story, she built a successful brand that has evolved into a multi-million-dollar business, empowering entrepreneurs worldwide. Another great example is Amy Porterfield, who transitioned from corporate life into building her own thriving online education empire. She didn't have all the answers when she started, but she knew she had valuable insights to share about digital marketing. Amy launched her first online course without waiting for perfection, and now she's a leader in the space, teaching others how to launch, grow, and scale their online businesses with Digital Course Academy. Another great example is Pat Flynn, who turned a job layoff into an opportunity to build a successful online business. He didn't know everything about entrepreneurship when he started, but he was willing to experiment and learn along the way. Pat launched his first passive income stream by creating a study guide for an exam he had taken, and that success led to him exploring other ventures. Now he teaches thousands of people how to create their own passive income streams and achieve financial freedom. And all 3 also have podcasts. The Goal Digger podcast with Jenna Kutcher, Online Marketing Made Easy with Amy Porterfield, and the Smart Passive Income Online Business and Blogging Podcast with Pat Flynn. These people didn't wait for perfect conditions. They took messy, imperfect action, and that's what you and I need to do too. Let's finish up with some quick, practical tips to help you start taking action on your ideas today. Tip 1, break it down. Don't get overwhelmed by the big picture. Break your idea into bite-sized tasks and focus on one thing at a time. Tip 2, set a deadline. Give yourself a deadline for your first action step. It could be as simple as making a call or getting your ideas down in a Google document, setting up a simple calendar to allow someone to book a call with you, an email list, or start writing the content for your simple one-page website. The point is to create urgency and get moving. Tip 3, find accountability. Get an accountability partner. This could be a friend, a business coach, or even an online community. Having someone to check in with can make all the difference in staying on track. Years ago, when I was still working in a job as a graphic designer for a big manufacturing company, I knew the end goal was to get back to self-employment. I met with 2 of my friends, Carrie and Sheila, weekly. All of us entrepreneurs, together, we'd brainstorm what was going on in our businesses and pick what it was we'd each be focusing on for the week ahead. We didn't feel alone. We had someone else that was going to ask if we had done the things we promised we'd do the week before, and we could be completely honest with each other without worrying that we were going to hurt the other person. We fleshed out so many ideas in those months together, and the end result for me was finally handing in my resignation at my job after almost 6 years with the company. So there you have it. The steps to turn your ideas into action: evaluate, plan, gather resources, prototype, and most importantly, execute. You're going to face obstacles, but with the right mindset and strategies, you can push through them. I hope today's episode gave you some clarity and motivation to finally get started on that idea you've been sitting on. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Start now, take imperfect action, and keep moving forward. And don't forget to download your free workbook. It'll walk you through the exact steps we just covered in this episode. You'll find prompts to use in ChatGPT, checklists, and space to work through each step. So by the time you're done, you'll have a clear path of action to turn your idea into reality. It's perfect if you're ready to stop overthinking and start executing. You can find a link in the show notes or grab a copy at Malinda Watt, MalindaWatt.com/action. Let's get that idea out of your head and into the world. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Get Over Your Shit. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe, share this episode with a fellow overthinker, and leave a review. Until next time, remember, progress over perfection. Keep moving forward. You've got this. If you've been dreaming of crossing finished website off your list of things to do, but don't know where to start, I've got just the thing for you. Whether you're overwhelmed by all the tech talk or just short on time, listen up, because this could be the game changer you've been waiting for. One-page website success, the easy step-by-step guide to creating a professional website in no time at all. You'll discover how to design and launch a beautiful, functional site without tech overwhelm. Perfect for busy entrepreneurs like you. This program is designed for women over 40 who want a no-fuss approach to getting their website online. Whether you're brand new to building a website or you've tried before and felt stuck and hesitated to promote your site because you're embarrassed with the result, I'll guide you through the entire process of building that very first page. Imagine, no more staring at a blank screen, wondering where to begin, no more endless hours Googling tutorials that just confuse you even more. Instead, you'll have the clarity and confidence to launch a one-page website that captures your brand and connects you with your ideal customers without ever feeling lost. Ready to ditch the overwhelm and finally take your business online? Head over to onepagewebsitesuccess.com today. You'll be surprised at just how simple it can be. That's onepagewebsitesuccess.com. Your roadmap to a professional website in less time than you thought possible. Let's get your business online the right way.